Evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Valley, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. That is the Axeman, Dillon Atkinson, at your service this evening. Zach Moore had a family event that got scheduled last minute, and so he's unable to be here tonight. Sends his apologies, but the Axeman, Dillon Atkinson, is filling in graciously. Dillon, how are you? It's been a while, man. Glad to see you.
It has been a while. I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Spring training is in full effect. We're about halfway through, less than 3 weeks till opening day. All is quiet for the Orioles. I mean, it started
Yep.
out with Jordan Westburg has the oblique strain, and Jackson Holliday has a broken hamate bone. And then a week later, we find out actually Jordan Westburg might need Tommy John surgery. Then, like I was told, he was like my source told him it was probably going to be Tommy John surgery. My source told me that, and then we find out he could have Tommy John surgery, but he's going to get the PRP injection. I'm optimistic about the PRP injection because he's not a pitcher. And we've seen
Yeah.
so many players that play with a partially torn UCL. We
Yep.
see so many pitchers that pitch their entire careers with a partially torn UCL. Most notably, Tanaka for the Yankees back in the mid 20 teens, like 2014,
Hmm.
2015, around then he was pitching with a partially torn UCL and he pitched his entire career that way. So I'm not too concerned about it, but ever since then, very quiet for the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, the Andrew Kittredge shoulder inflammation thing popped up, but that happens to
Yep.
pitchers. He's not concerned about it. He thinks he says he's going to get into Grapefruit League games again before the spring is done. This is not the same situation that where he had the knee issue last year, the knee debridement or whatever it was, and it caused him to be out till the
Hmm.
middle or third week of May. It's just a little bit
Yeah.
of shoulder fatigue, and he'll be all right. It happens a lot in spring training when they're ramping up. So I am not concerned about that at all. Overall, feeling good about the Orioles this spring. Loved what I saw in the WBC last night. We're going to start talking about that on today's show. But first, today's show is brought to you by Help My Gambling Problem. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-GAMBLER, or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. That's 1-800 call that's 1-800-GAMBLER or helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. I've only been reading that read for like 6 years. You'd think that I wouldn't stumble over it. Also, Stan the Fan Charles is live on the scene at Orioles Spring Training this week, and his coverage is brought to you by Warnken Law. When you need results in Baltimore, you don't play small ball. Visit warnkenlaw.com. That's 443 results, RNKEN law.com. All right, Dillon, WBC, man. We've been wanting meaningful baseball
Hmm.
here for quite some time. The winter always seems to drag out. We have meaningful baseball. The World Baseball Classic gets started. The American the U.S. team, they played, what was it, the Giants. They beat them 15-1. Then they played Colorado. They
Hmm.
beat them like 13-1. Um,
Yep.
then they had a day off, and then they get started in earnest the other day. Who did they play in that first game? I can't remember.
Honestly, they, they benched Gunnar, so I didn't even pay attention to it. So I
Yeah.
can't.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's where we're starting here. Gunnar was left out of that tournament opening game for the US and in favor of Alex Bregman and Bryce Terang. And both of them solid players. But Bryce Terang,
Yeah.
11.8 B WAR since 2023. Alex Bregman, 12.5 B WAR since 2023. That's good numbers. That's about 4 wins per season for them,
Hmm.
for each of them. Gunnar, 20.5. 20.5. Look, Gunnar Henderson is he and Bobby Witt. It's Bobby Witt and then Gunnar Henderson 1 and 1A for shortstops in the American League. Witt steals more bases, plays a little bit better defense, has a
Hmm.
little bit better hit tool, right? But
Hmm.
if it's do I take Witt, do I take Gunnar? You're not going to be upset with whichever one you get. They're the top two shortstops in the American League. Both are top
Right.
five shortstops in the game. Um, so I get starting Bobby Witt at shortstop. But Gunner's a top 10 player in the game. He just is. He's a top 10 player in the game. Why on earth would Mark DeRosa bench him for the first game? And it's just like, is he mad that the Orioles didn't even interview him for their managerial spot? Is he just like, damn it, I should have been managing that team? I imagine him sitting there eating a bucket of fried chicken like Ben Stiller at the end of Dodgeball, and he's like, effing Chuck
Yes.
Norris, I won that tournament. That's him. He's like effing David Rubenstein and Mike Elias, I should have been manager. Gunnar, get your ass on the bench. That's what I see right there. And like, look, they won. It didn't matter. They're not gonna lose a pool game. Like, it's fine. And then, and Gunnar,
Yeah.
you know he was pissed about not playing. He's one of the best players in the world. He expects to be in the lineup.
Yeah.
So what does he do in Game 4?
Yeah.
He goes out there and he goes 4 for 5. Drives in 2 runs, more hits than anybody else on the team. He has as many hits. He and Kyle Schwarber lead the U.S. roster in hits with 4 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Schwarber's done it in 11 at bats, and Gunnar's done it in 5. So it's he let the bat do the talking. I expect to see him in the lineup again tomorrow. Your thoughts on Gunnar being benched? And look. We don't have much to talk about right now. Like I said, spring training's been quiet, so of course we're going to find something to bitch about with the U.S. roster if Gunnar doesn't play. But make no mistake, this isn't Cedric Mullins sitting on the bench in 2023. This is one of the best players in all of baseball not starting Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's pool play, so you can't really get that upset. If we start getting into the games that really matter and he's on the bench, that's probably going to mean a little bit more. One thing I thought back to a little bit, and I can't even remember who all was on the roster at the time when US won it all. Adam Jones was on the roster, had that great catch off Manny. And I remember so many times looking up and down the feed that Jim Leland continued to have Adam Jones in the middle of the lineup, playing center field and starting every single time. And I can't even remember who else was on this roster, so I apologize. But I remember these people were making good points that at this point in Adam Jones' career, he shouldn't have been the everyday guy in center field over the other options. And I was like, I'm not mad about it. I love seeing Jonesy in there each time. And then all of a sudden, Jonesy has a walk-off hit in that WBC, and he has that great catch. He was the captain of that team.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, are the tables reversed here now? And here's our payback. We have to watch Gunnar ride the pine for a little bit.
Well,
for someone,
Mark,
who's probably not as good, and all of a sudden they're going to have a clutch moment. Like Bryce Terang's going to have the most clutch moment of the WBC or something.
Well, look, and he had 2 or 3 hits that first game.
He did.
He drove in. I think he drove in 1 or 2 runs too. So, like, look, Mark DeRosa knows more about baseball, has forgotten more about baseball than either one of us will ever know. All right, he was a quality big league utility infielder. He's a quality broadcaster, analyst, and he's a likable guy. Mm-hmm. We wanted to tune in to watch Team USA. But in pool play, like, we'll put it on in the background because we know that they're just going to stomp on these teams. We're tuning in because we want to see our guy. We want to see our guy. And when he's on that first lineup, it's like, come on, man, really? But then, but look, DeRosa was like, look, I'm going to get Gunnar good and pissed, and then he's going to come out and knock 4 hits. No, and honestly, look, he had 4 hits in that game. It was a phenomenal performance. But the hit that stuck out to me is the infield single in the 6th inning at 109 miles an hour off the bat. Because he smoked that ball. It got on the shortstop. He backhanded it, got rid of the ball in a hurry, and Gunnar beat it out. And we know that Gunnar spent this entire offseason working on his first step, working on his speed. He wants to be faster. He stole 30 bags for the first time last year. If he hadn't had the shoulder impingement, excuse me. Thank you. If he hadn't had the shoulder impingement, he probably would have been a 30-30 guy last year. You know that Gunnar probably wants to be a 30-30 or a 40-40 guy this year. I'm calling a 40-40 season from Gunnar. But
Okay.
you want to look at Gunnar and the strides that he made with his speed in the offseason. Look no further than a 109-mile-an-hour ground ball at the shortstop who gets rid of it in a hurry, and Gunnar still beats it out. That speed coming out of that box was incredible. And he's playing with his hair on fire, man. If Gunnar is playing
Yep.
at the beginning of March, getting 4 hits in big game action, imagine what he's going to be doing for
Hmm.
the Orioles come March 26th. I am here for it. I am
Yeah.
very very excited to see what what the future holds for Gunnar here, and give that man a blank check. Name the stadium after him. Give him a street in every town in Maryland named after him. I don't care if Gunnar Henderson is not a lifetime Oriole. We burn the warehouse down.
Yes, absolutely. And this might be even more heartfelt than anyone, including myself, who said give Manny Machado a blank check. This might be even
Mm-hmm.
more heartfelt. And I don't know if that's more because there's more love for Gunner, or if it's because we just went through this with Manny. Don't mess it up again.
Right. Right, exactly. And that's the thing. Like I've always said that the worst thing that this franchise ever did was not signing Manny long term and building around him. That rebuild could have been completely avoidable. Now look, a lot of it has to do with the fact that Peter Angelos was the owner, and then John Angelos was the control guy after that. Like that, a lot of it has to do with that. Okay. And I know that Manny
Mm-hmm.
wanted big time money. There's a lot of people that think Manny didn't want to play here. He didn't want to be here. Manny said, when they asked Manny prior to the 2019 season, who do you want to sign with? Who are you going to sign with? He said, whoever pays me the most. If the Orioles had been there with 10 years, $320 million, Manny Machado would have still been an Oriole. The fact of
Yeah.
the matter is, they offered him, I believe they offered him 8 years, $72 million after the 2013 or 2014 season. He wanted an extra $1 million a year. That's what he wanted. He wanted Ken Rosenthal wrote an article about this. He wanted an extra $1 million a year. He wanted 8 years, 80 million. And the Orioles said no. And they never approached him again about a contract extension.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I actually missed that article
Dude,
by
I
Rosenthal.
can't
That's
find it to
insane.
save my life, but I've read that article like 4 times because this isn't the first time I've mentioned it. That article exists in the world. I don't know where it is, but I saw it when it came out. I read it multiple times to make sure I was reading it correctly. He said it was in the range of 8 years, 72 million, and the Orioles scoffed over an extra $1 million a year, and they never approached him again after that.
Absolutely
You know,
bonkers.
and so like when people sit there and they say Manny didn't want to be here, bullshit. The Orioles didn't want to cough up the dough, and now it's and then it was too late. Yeah, by the time you got to 2018, yeah, it was too late because the writing was on the wall because you did nothing to make this team a contender in the future. You brought
Hmm.
back Chris Tillman, you signed Alex Cobb who wasn't ready. You're running it back with old heads like Chris Davis and Mark Trumbo and Adam Jones, and God love them, they were in the back nines of their career at that point. You know,
Hmm.
you're
Yep.
running it back with retreads at that point. You like, and so of course Manny. You look at the first half that Manny put up that year, what he did through the All Star break. He's never had a regular season, a first half close to that before or since.
Right.
Because that dude wanted to get
Yep.
traded to a contender like the Dodgers, and he wanted to get paid. And that's exactly what he did. Now you look at Manny. Did you see those 2 plays that he made the other day on back to
Oh,
back hitters?
yes.
He did that.
That's vintage Manny.
He did that. Like I remember him doing that in back to back at bats against Albert Pujols back in the day when the Orioles were playing the Angels. I
Yes.
remember him doing that in what was it, the ninth inning against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. I think it was the same game that Jones hit the go ahead home run off of Rivera in the ninth. Um, that's just what Manny Machado does. He's 33
Hmm.
years old this coming season, and he's still doing that. Actually, I think he's already
Yes.
33. He's already
Yeah.
33.
Yes, and what's crazy is that this past year his defensive metrics took a large step back. Like this past year was probably his worst defensive year of his career,
Mm-hmm.
and then he comes back this year to start off the WBC and makes those two asinine plays. That was just out of this world. It was vintage Manny. Makes it look
Mm-hmm.
so easy like he always has. And it's just, I will never get tired of watching that man play third base.
Oh, and it's crazy because the way that it happened, he was drafted to be a shortstop, but they
Mm-hmm.
needed in 2012. They had Mark Reynolds playing third base, and he was awful. They, I
Yes.
mean, it's like what you have now with Kobe Mayo playing third base. The
What about
guy
some
might
better meat?
right the what what meat is worse? Not my meat. My meat's better meat. Jeremy Kahn always says that joke. Um, no, but like they needed help at third base. So they were on side fields in the minors. They were having Manny get work at third base, despite the fact he was playing shortstop every day for
Yep.
Bowie. And then all of a sudden
Yep.
they call him up and he's starting at third base and he's making play after play after play. He is, in my opinion, the second greatest third baseman in the history of the Baltimore Orioles. And
Mm-hmm.
if he had played, if he had spent this his entire career to this point as a Baltimore Oriole, he would go down, and this is a big thing to say, but he will go down as the most talented and maybe the greatest Oriole of all time.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the skill set, look, he's not going to be greater than Frank because of what Frank did. He was that missing piece that put the Orioles over the top and won them their first World Series, right?
Yep.
Cal saved baseball, and Cal is from here. He's a Hall of Famer, the streak, and all that. Brooks Robinson, one of the most beloved players in history, played 30 million seasons, 16 consecutive Gold Gloves at third base, probably a record that'll never be broken.
Yep.
And he had 3,000 hits. Did he have 3,000 hits?
No,
No, he had. I think he had
just
20.
shy.
I think he had
Just
like
shy.
2,800.
Yeah, it was around 2,800, I believe.
Yeah, but arguably one of the greatest third basemen of all time. But skill wise, Manny Machado would be the greatest Oriole skill wise of all time.
Yep.
Just and there's no debating that. But the Orioles dropped the ball on that one, and this whole 15-minute rant about Manny Machado is to say you can't do that again with Gunnar. You
No.
cannot let Gunnar leave Oriole Park at Camden Yards unless it's for a road game. Like he cannot be in that visitors dugout in that stadium. When he's 37 years old, if you want it to be then. But right now, this is a 24-year-old dude. He's still probably 3 years away from entering his prime.
Yeah.
He had, for a Gunnar Henderson, a bad year last year, and he still had 5.7 WAR. You
Yeah.
know, but the defense improved. He stole 30 bases, only hit 17 home runs, but his numbers across the board went up. Average was a little bit lower, but who cares? This is a guy who needs to be an Oriole for life. And you watch what he did. You watch what he did in that World Baseball Classic, and you're going to tell me that the Orioles should even chance him leaving that building?
Oh no.
Absolutely not. Give him a blank check.
I'm all on board for blank check and everything, but the scary thing that we all know is that the only way that he's staying in Oriole is if they give him the highest offer in free agency, because he's not signing an extension. Even if they say blank check, he's not signing it. He's going to say, I'm going to see what everyone else has to offer me, and if you want me to stay here, you got to be the last team at the end.
12 years, $720 million. Make the first offer 12 years, $720 million.
Might still be too low. Might still be too low.
It might be, but give that man $60 million a year and say this is our offer, and make him. I mean, like he'll still see if somebody wants to match that. The Dodgers come to match that, like okay, then beat it. But and you'd like to think that if there's that, what it's going to come down to is this team needs to be winning and winning a lot by the time he hits free agency, right?
Yep.
So they need to get back to the postseason because he's a free agent. What after 2028?
I believe.
So
I'll double check it real quick.
I think it was 2022. He came up and got a cup of coffee. He was rookie of the year in 23, which took away a year of service time. So you figure 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I think he's a rookie.
Yes.
I think he's a free agent going
after
into
28.
after 28. Right. He's a free agent after 28. And so you
After
better
28, yes.
yeah, you better get back to the postseason this year. There's going to be baseball in 2027. If people think that there's not going to be baseball in 2027, you're not paying attention. They might not start on time. They might play a truncated season where maybe it's 130,
Mm-hmm.
145 games, but there's going to be baseball in 2027. You have to get back to the postseason, and you better be a World Series contender if you want to get
Oh yeah.
if you want to keep Gunnar. Get to a World Series. You don't have to win one. Maybe get to the Game 7 of the ALCS, and then Gunnar hits free agency and give him the top offer. Right, you have 5 days to negotiate a contract with him before anybody else can talk to him. 12 years, 720 million to start the bidding. 12 years, 720 million. Start the bidding, and then
Yep.
if he wants to go see what else is out there, but have the right of first refusal. Say, look, this is our offer. Go see what you can get. Come back to us. Give us the right of first refusal, and then see what happens. Gunnar Henderson should never wear a different uniform for the next 10 to 15 years. Should not wear another uniform. Like what he did yesterday and that energy that he played with, like you can't beat it. You like just so fired up. Go ahead. Your connection's a little faulty, man. You good?
Yeah, I just got back in it. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, you've been a little choppy throughout, but that's all right, man. Uh, but yeah, let Gunnar do his thing. Pay that man. Keep him an Oriole for life. Uh, I'm really excited to see what he's can do the rest of the World Baseball Classic. Is the U.S. your favorite for the tournament moving forward? Dylan, we got you, man. You're on mute. All right. While Dylan's figuring out his technical difficulties, I'll carry the load here. I want to remind everybody that today's show is brought to you by Glenn Clark Radio. If you missed anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with Cedric Mullins, Taryn Vavra, Michael Pierce, and more, you can find them in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages. Dylan, we got you?
I think so.
All right. I was talking to you. It didn't seem like you could hear me, or you were on mute for a little bit, but you
No.
weren't talking either. Just technical difficulties on your end.
Yeah, I think so. Everything was just getting chopped up and couldn't hear you, and things were freezing up. So I'm hoping I'm back in business now for good.
All right. Um, WBC, Tarek Skubal gives up a home run on the first pitch of the game yesterday. Then he cruises for 3 innings. He strikes out 5 batters of the next 9 outs. After the game, oh, by the way, Nate Eaton, Royals farmhand, got a cup of coffee a few years in a row for the Royals. Collected
Mm-hmm.
all 3 hits for Great Britain. Drove in the lone run with his leadoff home run. He had 296 last year. Smaller sample size, but he had 296 last year. I just thought that
Mm-hmm.
was interesting that the same guy got all 3 hits for that team, which means he got 2 hits off of Tarek Skubal, which bodes well for he and the Royals, considering that they're in that division. Now
Yeah.
Skubal says after the game that he didn't realize the emotion of the tournament and that he might want to pitch another game. He's torn. It's one of the biggest decisions of his life. His manager, AJ Hinch, said he and the Tigers expect Skubal back in camp. Your thoughts on Skubal? I don't know how he could ever expect to be the best pitcher in the world and only pitch in pool play.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I know the mindset he had going into it, and I assume majority of that was coming from Scott Boras,
Mm-hmm.
going, "You are literally on top of the world right now. You are not messing up anything going into free agency. If you have, you come off the mound weird and break your ankle or do something to your arm, no, 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 we're not doing this."
Mm-hmm.
And either there's two different ways to look at Scoopel trying to stay in the tournament right now. Is one, he saw all the backlash he got from all the fans and everything. It was like, yeah, this doesn't look the greatest. I want to try to see if I can stay in this, try to save some face. Or B, he really does feel everything from this tournament and goes, no, I don't want to leave this, period. So and I hope it's option B. And we've seen players from both USA and the other teams. This means a lot to them.
Oh yeah.
You see it with all the players. You see the energy from any team in there, and it's amazing, and it's sometimes it's stuff that you want to see in a 162 game season for Major League Baseball, where you got literally the entire dugout erupting out and out of it for a flipping double.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That energy is contagious, and
Absolutely.
once you're watching a game, you can't keep your eyes off of it. So I'm hoping that it's option B and that Scooble really does want to stay into it. But I also can't blame the Tigers too much if he already told them and agreed with them. Yeah, I'm coming back. We're right after this. They're kind of in a mindset of we're looking for your best year before you leave us for good. And this is what we already laid out and agreed upon. Don't walk back on it now.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing. You've got your manager saying, "I expect you back. I expect him back in camp this coming week." You've got Scott Boras in his ear, like, "You get hurt, you're kind of screwing yourself."
Yep.
Is there any chance that he continues to pitch? Like, is there any chance he continues to pitch in the WBC?
I think there is. I think there is. I mean, even if the Tigers and AJ Hinch are saying we expect you back in camp, I mean, you have to imagine Scooble's kind of thinking at home like, or what? Like, if I make one more start for Team USA, are you telling me that you're not going to start me on opening day? Like,
Right,
you're starting me on opening day. I mean, you
right.
can expect me back, but I'll see you in 2 weeks. Like,
The guy, he's a grown man. There's nothing in his contract that says he can't do it. There's no, isn't it basically like insurance isn't covering these players? Wasn't there like this whole
um,
thing about insurance not covering these players?
there has been, and I haven't read up fully to fully understand everything that has to do with that, but that's what I've been grasping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, but he can do whatever the hell he wants to do, and if he's like, man, that was incredible. I got, excuse me, I little
Bless you.
side. Thank you. Little sidebar. I've been sneezing a little bit, wiping my nose a little bit. I feel fine. I have a little bit of a sore throat. I was waiting tables the other night, and there was a guy in there, and it was so disgusting, man. He's sitting there at the table, and he's got this tissue in his hand, and it's flimsier looking than this. Like there's like ratty looking holes in it, and he's wiping his nose and blowing his nose and all that, and yeah, at the table, and then puts the tissue down on the table, reaches over, grabs a dessert menu from his wife, and he's like touching all this stuff, and I'm looking at this dude, and I'm like, you mother, if you get me sick, and you can't say anything, right? You
Oh
can't
yeah.
say, like, I'm looking at him like, go wash your hands. But I can't say that. Sure enough, I wake up yesterday morning with a sore throat.
Oh, of course.
Like a really sore throat. And I'm like, and then last night, my daughter has like, it sounds like whooping cough. Like
Oh.
she's 2 and it sounds like a grown man coughing. I was like, I'm going to find that guy. Like, oh my God. So
You
my
should you should have just calmly went by with some hand sanitizer. Would you like some, sir?
dude, I literally thought that. Like, what if I had sanitizer in my pocket and when I saw him like blow his nose, if I just without even missing a beat, I just take it out of my pocket and I go, here you go, and just hand it to him without missing a beat. Like,
Just squirt it right into his hands without him realizing. Don't even ask permission first. Just
first one of my mic cutting out midstream, but again, I noticed it immediately. But yeah, so that's why I'm sneezing a little bit. I feel perfectly fine. I was outside all day, beautiful day. Maybe it's allergies. I don't know. Feel great, but little sneeze here and there, whatever. Um, but yeah, Scooble can do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I, if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna say he is going to pitch one more game. I think he'll start a game in the second round, maybe give him another 3 innings, and be like, "I'm sorry, guys, I'm done." After that, they're not gonna need him again anyway. But
No.
like you experienced that emotion. You experienced the greatest player in the world, Gunnar Henderson, sliding into second base on that 2-run hit and just all fired up. Oh my god, I go! Like, come on, come on.
Yes.
I think Gunner's the reason that Scooble's like, maybe I want to come back and pitch again. Guys, I'm kidding.
100%. So Scooble to the Orioles, right? You know.
Uh, how much is that guy gonna get in free agency?
Uh, he's probably going to get the highest paid pitching contract
Oh, there's no
at the
probably
time.
about it. It's going to be the highest contract for a starting pitcher in the history of the game. Is he going to get 50 million a year?
I could see it.
I mean, you figure back-to-back Cy Youngs, and he's going to be a favorite for a third straight. You know,
Mm-hmm.
barring injury, that dude is about, and what is he, 27, 28 years old?
Let me double check to be sure, but I think 28.
Like late 20s, starting pitchers last into their 40s these days. I mean, Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander signed within a few weeks of each other, and they're 42 and 43 years old. Like, pitchers pitch forever these days.
Oh, he's act he is actually 29 years old. So he's going to be entering free agency at 30.
Entering free agency at 30. So he'll probably get 7 years. Is 7 years 350 million out of the realm of possibility for Tarek Skubal? And if you're the Orioles, are you willing to pay that kind of money?
I can see it.
Uh,
I mean, I could see it. Him getting. I could see him getting 8. I could see him getting 9 years.
that is so many
Maybe
years.
dial back the AAV to 45 million,
Um,
but I mean, nowadays you see it. These that to win in free agency, so to speak, you have to be willing to absolutely eat crap on the back half of that deal.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, if you get a Cy Young caliber starting pitcher like Tarek Skubal, and you win a couple of World Series the first 4 years of that deal, you sign up for that in blood. You absolutely sign up for that in blood. The thing with the
Mm-hmm.
Orioles, they say that they have no
Yeah.
financial restrictions. They've got deep pockets. And they've got money to spend. Is there any chance that they can spend that kind of money on a starting pitcher and still sign Gunner? They can. They can. Is there any chance they do?
They can. No.
They can. Is there any chance they
I
do?
can,
No.
and they should, but I'm gonna say no, they don't do it.
You're
And
probably right.
I'm gonna say right now, there's a slim chance that I'm saying there's a slim chance that either one happens, not even both.
Yeah, that's probably. God, I don't even want to think about that. No, moving on. Moving on. Before we get to our next read, I do want to point out the comments from Bryce Harper. Did you see this? What he said? The WBC is great and all. And I'm paraphrasing here. It's great and all, but it's about the Olympics. The Olympics are a bigger deal, and I'm hopeful to see baseball back in 28 in LA or Las Vegas, or wherever the hell it is. It's an
Right.
interesting thing to say at in while you're playing in the WBC. Do
Yeah, it
you feel
is.
that other players feel the same way, that like the World Baseball Classic doesn't mean as much to them as it would in the
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we did just see Kike Hernandez say yesterday that his feeling on the WBC is that it means more to him than the World Series. That's what Kike
Mm-hmm.
Hernandez said, and Kike Hernandez has played in a handful of World Series and has won a handful of World Series, which is like top of the top right there. And he's saying that doesn't come close to what the WBC means for me. So it's not that Bryce Harper is wrong, so to speak. I do think, like you said, it's a kind of a wild thing to say while you're in the middle of the
Mm-hmm.
WBC. I could see him maybe saying something like that maybe after the WBC is over and he's back in Phillies camp,
Right.
and talking to reporters. I could see that. But would I love to see baseball in the Olympics? Yes. Would
I
absolutely love
remember
to
when
see
it
that.
was in the Olympics,
But
but I also remember because I remember I went to an Orioles game back. I was a kid. And Team USA had just played an Olympic baseball game at Camden Yards,
mhm.
or maybe like an Olympic qualifying game, something like that at Camden Yards, and it was all college players. And to me,
Yeah.
that's the thing is like if baseball comes back to the Summer Olympics, is it baseball the same? Is it the same thing as the WBC? I don't think it is. I think the World Baseball Classic
Uh,
is its own animal. And I think when you get to the Olympics, you're going to see more of like these teams that like I don't think you're getting every country's best player. I don't think that Major League Baseball
no.
players are stopping in the middle of the season in August to go play in the Olympics. I don't think you see that.
Yeah. Yeah. That is absolutely wild, and a lot of things would have to be worked out, that things that me and you probably couldn't even think of right now to even make
Well,
that
and that's the
happen.
thing. So
But the fact
there's
that
speculation that Bryce Harper is saying this as almost like a bargaining chip for the new CBA, just to kind of be like, hey, like to make them think about the fact that like we want to play in the Olympics, you need to give us time off in August to do that in 2028. You know,
right, which maybe it's a thing of, when it's Olympics that year for baseball season, somehow, some way, it's a shortened season where and you get rid of the All-Star break and the Olympics takes its place, and maybe you're looking at a 130 game season instead. I don't
right?
know.
And yeah, because I mean, you're gonna have to take 2 weeks off in the middle of the season, and
Hmm.
I mean, and that's what a month after the All Star break. So you're talking 3 weeks off in the span of about 6, 7 weeks. I don't know. I don't know how you do that. You know,
Yeah, that's
and
tough.
that's why I think that like even if baseball does come back to the Olympics, and I think that it will. I think there's enough of a call for it that it will. I don't know how many big league players
Mhm.
are going to do that, and I don't know how many major league teams are going to let their players do that. When you consider that now you're in August and you're starting to make the trade deadlines pass, you're starting to make your playoff push, and now oh by the way, I'm out of here for 2 weeks to go play in the Olympics. Yeah, right. Like
Especially the
yeah,
pitchers.
yeah, dude. I don't see how it happens. The only way is if you make it like in the Winter Olympics. Like make baseball part of the Winter Olympics, but that defeats the purpose of the Winter Olympics because it's not a winter sport. And like the Winter Olympics are
Yeah.
held in unless it's held in a place that has a dome, like and you're playing 3 or 4 games a day in that dome, like I just don't see how it could possibly happen where you get big league players playing in the Olympics. Hockey does it. Hockey manages to do it. You know, um,
Yeah.
once every 4 years, hockey allows their players to leave to go play in. Well, not every team though, because did Ovechkin play for the Russians this year?
I'm not
I have
100%
no
sure.
idea, but I didn't hear his name.
But as we all know, hockey players were just a completely different breed of
Dude, hockey
humans.
hockey players are ridiculous. They're all like 6'4", and they all can ice skate at high speed backwards and forwards while also getting checked and getting the crap knocked out of them and knocking the crap out of dudes. Hockey players are like unreal, dude. They are absolutely unreal.
Yes.
Any who's a what's it. Okay. Today's show brought to you by the latest edition of Press Box, which is available now. On the cover, Dave Ginsburg looks at Cal Ripken Jr.'s new life at 65, including his role with the Orioles ownership group. Also inside, we learn more about new Ravens coach Jesse Minter and meet college lacrosse players from all of the area's programs. You can find the new issue for free all throughout the region, including at all Baltimore area High's Dairy stores, or you can read the entire issue at PressBoxOnline.com. All right, Dillon. Somebody posted, justbaseball.com, the top 10 starting pitcher 1-2 punches. They posted this about an hour or so ago. And I want to know what your thoughts are. Number 1, Tarek Skubal, Framber Valdez. Number 1.
It's tough to argue with it.
Number 2, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Blake Snell. Number 3, Seattle, Brian Wu and Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert did not have a good year last year, though.
He didn't, but I'm still a big believer in Gilbert, and that they're not the flashy names, man, with Wu and Gilbert, but that is a sneaky good 1-2 punch.
Number 4, Garrett Crochet and Ranger Suarez. For Boston. Number 5 for Philadelphia, Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo.
That's with Zach Wheeler out. Jeez.
Number 6, Texas, Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi. Nathan Eovaldi had the lowest ERA in all of baseball last year, but he didn't have enough innings to qualify. But he threw over 100 innings. He had a 1.73 ERA. That was a guy who I wanted him so bad in Baltimore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me too. And I'd have to imagine that. I don't know who else is coming up on this list, but I'd have to imagine that deGrom and Eovaldi are the oldest duo on this list.
Maybe there's one duo that can push that. One duo that can push that.
Okay.
Number 7, Toronto, Dylan Cease and Kevin Gausman.
Okay.
Gausman's really good. Cease every other year is really good. Number 8, the New York Mets, Freddie Peralta and Nolan McLean, former Oriole farmhand, could have been former Oriole farmhand, didn't sign.
Could have been farmhand, man.
Bastards. He hasn't done it long enough, though. You know,
he hasn't done it long enough. But man, for what he's done it for, he's looked good, man. He's looked damn good.
Number 9, this is the one that can push him. That can push with deGrom and Eovaldi. San Francisco Giants, Logan Webb and Robbie Ray.
Oh, how old is Webb? Isn't he 30? Something like that? 31?
I feel like he's been around for a decade. He's got to be 32, 33 years old.
Real quick. Logan Webb is 29.
What? When was his first year? I feel like his first year was like 2013. I feel like that dude's been around forever. His first year was probably like 2018, wasn't it?
2019.
2019. I feel like he's been around way longer than that.
But yeah. Eovaldi is 36. And deGrom
37.
is 37.
And then number 10, the Atlanta Braves, Chris Sale and Spencer Strider. Strider coming back from injury, hasn't been Spencer Strider for a couple of years now. Chris Sale rediscovered himself down in Atlanta.
Correct.
Chris Sale also just signed a 2-year extension with Atlanta so he will not be a free agent this upcoming off season. Ominous by their absence. No Kyle Bradish and Trevor Rogers. Kyle Bradish finished 4th in Cy Young voting. Should have been a finalist over Kevin Gausman in 2023. Was looking even better before he got hurt in 24. Was looking just as good, if not better, when he came back in 25. The Boston Red Sox regulars, when they faced Bradish earlier this year, they said that earlier this spring, I'm sorry. The Boston Red Sox lineup last year when he came back said that Bradish had the best stuff they'd seen all year. He's that dude. And Trevor Rogers had a 1.81 ERA last season, and that was with giving up 6 runs in his final start. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Oh
get it.
yeah.
Bradish has made 13 starts the last 2 years. Trevor Rogers only made 19 starts last year. Like, you're going to have a hard time convincing me that, like, Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo are good. Are they better than Bradish and Rogers? Dylan Cease and Kevin Gossman are good. Are they better than Bradish and Rogers? Chris Sale and Spencer Strider
It's
are
tough.
good. Are
That's
they
tough.
are they better than Bradish and Rogers?
The thing is, do I still got
No,
you?
my audio's here. You were chopped up a little bit. You there? You good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You got me back now? Okay, sorry. The one thing that's probably
Yeah.
working against Rogers and Bradish, as you alluded to, was availability, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
fact of the matter is that between Rogers and Bradish, have one season, 30 game starts,
Yeah.
and then
There's
in
only 4 in the
2023,
entire
Rogers has
Orioles
yes,
rotation. With the
yeah,
exception,
yeah.
before Chris
So I
Bassett
think that's one
signed,
thing
before the Chris Bassett even signed here, the rest of the Orioles rotation had a combined 4 30-start seasons between the 5 of them, and then Bassett has like 4 in the last 4 years
right.
on his own.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So I think that's one thing that could really just be working against Rogers and Bradish is, you know, you got to be out there in order to be considered. I mean, I know Strider has had been injured and stuff like that, but like when it comes down to it, Rogers and Bradish together really haven't been doing it combined as a duo at all. And it's I think they can get themselves on this list
Mm-hmm.
this season and possibly very quickly. They could be putting themselves on this list by the end of
Mm-hmm.
April. But I think just going into a season, especially since we haven't seen a full season of Bradish since 23, his stuff has been good when he has pitched in 24
Mm-hmm.
and 25. It's been electric, but it's just a matter of staying on the field for Kyle
Absolutely.
Bradish. And Rogers has had his as well. So the biggest key is going to be staying on the field for them. If they both stay on the field, they are going to be one of the nastiest 1-2 punches in baseball
Yeah.
this
No,
season.
I agree with that.
So I'm not hating that they're not on the list. I just think they will be
Randall agrees with you. No,
eventually.
I'll take Bradish and Rogers all day long. Um, Something other than being worn out has enlightened Rogers. Rogers figured something out. He was first round. Was Trevor Rogers the first pick of the first round before? I don't think he was. I don't
First
think he was
round.
a 1-1. There's also no D in
Um,
Trevor Rogers' last name.
no, he was first round 2017.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, he was a first round pick, and he did say that last off season at the pitching lab, he found out that his strength was below average for a major leaguer. And so I think that
Mm-hmm.
had a lot to do with it. And from what we've seen from him this spring, the game against the Netherlands, like, is there anything that bothered you about that? Like, that happens in spring training. Like,
No.
Trevor Rogers looked exactly the same to me his first 2 or 3 outings. He looked exactly the same to me as he did
Yeah.
last year. So I'm not worried about him at all. And I
No.
have there's not a doubt in my mind that Kyle Bradish is going to shove this year. I think that
Mm-hmm.
the innings are going to be limited, and I think that that's Exhibit A why they're going with a 6-man rotation. And they haven't announced that, but I if Zach Eflin is healthy, they're going with a 6-man rotation. I don't see how you don't. I don't see how you don't.
Right.
But
Right.
um,
Yeah. It's going to be interesting how they start the season because there's so many off days in the beginning of the season.
mhm.
So I think we're going to be seeing, assuming that the first five are all healthy, and ready to go to start the season, especially Eflin. But if they're all healthy and ready to go, I think we do see Dean start the season out of the bullpen just
You
because
you think
you
so?
almost can't you almost can't do a 6-man rotation with how many off days you have at the start of the season. You're going to have these guys on 8 days rest every single
They
time.
they did have Dean the other day pitching out of the bullpen, but I think that was just to get his work in. I just don't
Mm-hmm.
know how you take a guy through 172 innings last year and say you're going to the bullpen. And I get it. He's the worst starter that you have, but he's still a damn good starting pitcher. I,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And by the way, Dean started the game today for Team Israel. They're winning 5-0 in the
Mm-hmm.
bottom of the seventh, which means Dean probably pitched pretty well. Dean Kramer, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Obviously, no runs because they're up 5-0 against what is that? Nicaragua? Yeah, Nicaragua.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good start to WBC for Dean Kramer. I think they're going 6-man rotation. They have 5 days off in the first month of the season between from March 26th to the end of April. They have 5 off days. Then they only have 5 off days in May and June combined. So
Right. So that is where they're going to need that 6-man big time.
yeah, and I think that maybe they slow play Eflin, but if Eflin pitches the rest of spring the way he did the other day, God man, see him being healthy because remember how good he was his first 12
Oh
starts
yeah.
with this team, and then he got
Oh
hurt.
yeah.
He had 9 starts to end 24. Then he had 3 starts to start 25, and he was that damn good. And
Yes.
and then he got hurt. And but before, God, if he's healthy, like you cannot convince me that the dude who spent the last 4 years pitching with that back injury, where he had to tweak his mechanics just to be couldn't pick up his kids, and he's out there throwing a baseball every fifth day, and,
Yeah.
and he still pitched to a 3.5 ERA 2 years in a row with that back injury. And you're gonna tell me the guy who could do that with the back injury, who now says that he feels the healthiest and the best he's ever felt in his career, can't go out there and just absolutely shove. I'm here for it, man. Give me like this rotation and like this. It's I gotta knock on wood. It's been such a quiet spring since the Westburg news that
Yes.
I want it to stay quiet. Like the Orioles, they have a new manager in place, almost a completely new coaching staff, new hitting coaches. They've got new superstar players on their team. I think, and they didn't add an ace, but they added quality starting pitching this year. They are deep, and
Yes.
I think that this quiet spring is exactly how they want it to be. They want it to be this
Yes.
quiet so that they can come out of the gates, and that schedule to start the year, they don't play a quality big league team until like the last week of April. And we're
You got to come
talking
out hot.
29 games. This team could go. I think is it 29 games? You can't convince me that this team can't go 20-9 to start the year. And if
Oh,
and
they can.
if they do, and that and what people don't understand is that confidence begets confidence. Positivity begets positivity, right? So you're gonna have if you have a team that comes out and they're playing that. Well, it's what happened in 2021 in 2023. The Orioles had no business winning 101 games in
No.
2023, but they started playing good baseball. They started coming back and winning games that they shouldn't be winning. They started
Yep.
feeding off of each other. That's something that like you can have all the analytics and all the sabermetrics that you want in the world. There is no stat to quantify good clubhouse culture and just feeding off of each other and being
Oh yeah.
that cohesive unit. There's nothing to quantify that. And so you let just don't let this team get hot to start the year. Like if you
All,
like don't let them get hot.
hey, all 2023 needed was a randomly just called up Yenyer Cano coming out of the bullpen with bases loaded in Chicago, and all of us holding on to our butts. And then he had an amazing rest of the season.
Oh my god! And we're all sitting there like, this guy walked 8 per 9 last year. What are you doing? His ERA was like 50. What are you? Why? How is this the guy you go to? I remember screaming at the TV, "Hyde, what are you doing?" And then he gets out of it, and he doesn't
It
allow a
becomes an
run
all
for
star.
he doesn't allow a run for 34 innings. Like, what the hell just happened?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
Brandon Hyde rode his coattails. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, by the
Right to an
way,
All-Star appearance.
right. By the way, I totally forgot about this. Russia is barred from the Olympics. Totally forgot because of doping that Russia is banned from the Olympics. That's why we didn't
And
know if Alexander Ovechkin played for Team. He did not play for Team Russia because they don't
well,
have a
that gives us our
team.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah, they are banned. I don't know how long they're banned. Maybe it's for life. I don't know, but because of doping, they're banned. I totally forgot about that. Um,
Yep. Me too.
today's show has been brought to you by County Sports Zone. We're just a week away from championship weekend for public high school basketball. Remember that all year long you can find score schedules and updates for every sport and every school all throughout the state at countysports.zone. Countysports.zone is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Dylan, the bullpen is starting to thin out a little bit.
Yeah.
We saw Cameron Foster, who had an outside Cameron Foster and Anthony Nunez, who both had outside chances of making the Orioles bullpen out of spring training, hadn't allowed to run either of them to this point. They get sent down to Twin Lakes Park
They'll be back.
for minor league spring. They will be back. They're on the 40-man roster and they have options. You're going to see a lot, especially if they have a 6-man rotation. They go with a 7-man bullpen. You're going to see a lot of interchangeable pieces, including Cameron Foster and
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Nunez. I'll tell
Yes.
you right now, and then Andrew Kittredge has the shoulder inflammation. He says it's not a big deal. He expects to be back before the Grapefruit League schedule ends. But he probably won't be ready for opening day, but he anticipates it not being too far after opening day that he'll be back. This is normal stuff, people, that pops up in spring training with pitchers.
Yeah.
You know, you can pitch as much as you want in the off season. When you start ramping it up in spring training to prepare for the season, things happen. Shoulder inflammation
Yep.
is one of the most common things that you see with starting pitchers. Uh, Kittredge should be fine and be back sometime in early to mid-April, and then we won't think about it again unless he gets hurt again. But that leaves the 8th inning open, and I'll tell you a couple of
Yeah.
things. Tyler Wells is going to be your setup man until Kittredge is back. And
I can see it.
what he's doing right now in spring training, 6 innings pitched, no runs allowed. I think he's allowed 2 hits, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts, like 8 or 9 strikeouts. Guy is absolutely dominating right now.
Yes.
And Jacob Calvin Meyer posted, it's like John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Um, Jacob Calvin Meyer posted what what Tyler Wells has done as a reliever in his career. So it's Tyler Wells this spring, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. In his career as a reliever, opposing batters are hitting 168 with a 531 OPS against him. This is a guy who had the lowest WHIP in the American League as a starting pitcher in 2023 at the All-Star break.
Yep.
Like the he's been dotting his fastball this spring. Tyler Wells is an elite reliever, and people don't realize. People are like, oh, he should be in the starting rotation. No, you have
Mm-mm.
6 starters who deserve to be there. Tyler Wells should be a high leverage reliever for you. A 6'8" guy who, when he can let it eat for an inning, can get to the upper 90s with his fastball and has that kind of control. Tyler Wells should be a reliever. I'm telling you right now, if Tyler Wells starts this year as a reliever and he stays healthy, he's going to be an all-star. He's going to be an all-star.
Ooh. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Now, the big key here is health.
Health.
Same thing we were saying with Bradish. It's just about availability. He's got to stay on the team. And looking at this bullpen now, this is the year he needs to stay healthy more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep going back and forth with my own inner thoughts on this bullpen because I've continued to say, please go make a trade for JoJo Romero of the Cardinals. Shore up that back into the bullpen. Romero's pitched right in front of Helsley before. Pull the strings, make it happen. Helsley still isn't a surefire thing after his collapse last season. We hope that he can bounce back.
I think he's a surefire thing. I'll explain when you're done.
Okay, I like it. But it's just there's a lot. The good thing about the Orioles right now is that they do have a lot of options. Like Foster, like Nunez, and everything. That they have a lot of depth where we've seen the Orioles, no matter whether it was under Elias, Duquette, whomever, there's going to be someone for the Orioles this season who probably isn't cracking the opening day roster, who's going to be one of the best relievers in the bullpen this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of how it's going to happen. It could be one of the guys that just got option. It could be a guy who they pick up on waivers right before opening day. We
Get
don't
it,
know.
Coulomb, baby!
Exactly. So, like, it's the bullpen is a worry for me, but I feel like I put myself through this almost every season right before they have a pretty darn good bullpen. So
they were talking, and maybe it was Jacob Calvin-Meyer, and I gotta find this post. If it's not him, it's Koska or it's Rill. But let me. This post has to be here somewhere. So Cameron Foster this spring, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Struck out the side today before getting option down. Come on. He put up a post. One of these guys put up a post about what these Orioles relievers have done. The guys who had a chance to make this squad. God, I saw it, and maybe it wasn't Jacob Calvin-Meyer. But it's something like 20 innings pitched and no runs allowed between like Foster, Nunez, Wolfram, and maybe
Rico Garcia.
Yeah, it had to have been
Geraldo. Did you already say Geraldo?
It may have been Geraldo. I mean, it's got to be in here somewhere. And I don't want to have dead air. And I told my wife I was going to try and end the show fairly early today so we could spend some time together because it was a weekend that she worked and I didn't get to see her all weekend. But there's something about Grant Wolfram's making this team out of spring training. Grant Wolfram is going to be a lefty. So? He's making this team. They love him. They absolutely love him. He's and I was reading about his sinker, 96, but the way that he hides the baseball, it's more like 98. And they were talking about, and I think it was Jacob Calvin-Meyer again talking about how he the way that he hides a sinker between that and his upper 90s fastball, it's the same thing that made Felix Bautista so effective. And all 30 teams love this guy. So yeah. I think he's making the team out of spring training. Another guy that I think that I am really excited about is Jackson Kowar. We were talking about this a little bit earlier today, Dillon. Jackson Kowar, upper 90s fastball. He's developing his slider. He's become more of a wipeout slider as he moves along.
It's a wipeout one. Yep.
He's got a great changeup. Like his arm, what I've seen from him so far this spring, I'm telling you, this guy's got something. This guy's got something. I think that he's a dark horse candidate to make this team out of, and he has to. He's out of options. So I think
out of options.
He's going to be in the bullpen.
That was the one thing that was pulling me apart from Wolfram is the fact that he has options. And so it just made me wonder, like, are they going to carry someone like a Rico Garcia who performed well down the stretch last season, and is performing well in spring this season and doesn't have options? Are they going to give it to him just because they can't option him?
Right. But see, that's the thing. If you want to be a great baseball team and you want to contend for a World Series, are you giving something to somebody, or are you bringing the best guys, the best 26 guys north with you? You know, and the other question is, as much as they and we love Albert Suarez, is Albert Suarez deserving of a promotion to the big league squad for opening day? He got torched yesterday, and it's spring training, but he got absolutely torched yesterday. Like,
no, I'm looking at Suarez as AAA depth right now.
Yeah,
if he'll stay there.
And I legitimately believe that Cade Povich, because he made 20 plus starts for the Orioles last year, because I don't feel like he has much left to prove at AAA. I thought he was going to be in the bullpen for this team, and now I'm looking at it. He and Brandon Young and Trey Gibson and Luis De Leon, they're going to be part of an incredible starting rotation in Norfolk.
Yep. Yeah.
They're going to be part of an incredible starting rotation down there. Like you're going to look at Norfolk. Norfolk's going to be one of the best teams in the International League because
Hmm.
they're going to have. I mean, look at it, man. They're going to have Heston Kjerstad, Enrique Bradfield Jr. And they're going to have Honeycutt will probably get up there at some point if he continues doing what he's done this spring. And then that rotation is just going to be absolutely nasty. Norfolk's going to be really, really good this year.
And their bullpen's going to be good too because it's going to be just a nonstop rotational piece between big league guys.
Yeah, like it's the upper systems and the major league squad are going to be really good for the Orioles this year. Like I'm here for it. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But I like this like you were saying about the bullpen. There's going to be some dark horse candidate. I'm telling you, it's going to be guys like Jackson Kowar and Grant Wolfram that we're going to be talking about them in like June. Like these dudes are. We're going to be talking about them the way we were talking about Joey Crable and CNL Perez in 2022.
Oh man,
Like I
I
think that
love
that's
I love me some Joey Crable, man.
he was so good the first half of that year. The other guy that
Hmm.
was really good for the Orioles in 2022, Austin Voth.
Yeah,
Austin Voth was really good, and then he got hurt, and when he came back, he wasn't the same guy in
yeah,
2023 or 24. But I'm telling you, they find these dudes, whether it's Danny Coulombe or Joey Crable or CNL Perez, they find these dudes that get big outs for them. And I'm telling you, Wolfram and Kowar, keep your eyes open for those guys. Um,
yep.
just keep your eyes open for these guys. Also, keep your eyes open for that 100-foot media wall at Live Casino. It's time to start thinking about your plans for March Mania. There is no better place to watch the tournament this March than inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel. With great giveaways, that 100-foot media wall, and incredible food and drink specials, you don't want to miss the action. Get to Live Casino and book your table today. Um, Winding things down here on the bat around. Special thanks to the Axeman himself, Dillon Atkinson, for joining us today, filling in. I do want to talk a little bit about the Orioles offense. I don't have it pulled up. I've been trying to pull it up, but I haven't done it to this point. Um, they haven't done much. Like, have you noticed
Mm,
that they haven't been scoring a lot of runs? They've been winning a lot
yeah,
of games 3-2. They lost today 1-0. And I'm looking at this team and their regulars, they haven't really. We're only about halfway through. You're going to start seeing like regulars playing into the seventh, eighth, ninth inning more
yeah.
frequently. But when you look at what the team is doing offensively, Pete Alonso, 259, 2 home runs, 3 RBI. Also had the big 3-run homer, I think it was, in the exhibition game against what was it, Nicaragua or the
I think so.
Netherlands?
Yeah,
It was the Netherlands. Um, Let me see. Tyler O'Neill, 636, but he's 7 for 11, but he's with Team Canada right now. Adley, 227 with a 729 OPS, 5 for 22. Blaze Alexander, 211. Samuel Basayo, 333. Dylan Beavers, 182. Hang on, let's keep going here. Colton Cowser. How is Cowser 273? I feel like I've 7 strikeouts and 22 at bats, one walk. I feel like I've been just seeing him not have a great spring. I don't know how he's hitting
yeah,
273, and I'm not trying to hate on the guy. I'm trying to go a little easy on him. He was not healthy at any point last year. Something struck me though. They were talking to him today on the broadcast. And they asked him like, "Did you ever feel comfortable at the plate last year?" And he was like, "Yeah, I felt comfortable." He's like, "I just didn't execute." And it's like, so you felt comfortable and you didn't execute, and now I'm seeing you strike out 33% of the time in spring training. And he must have gotten a hit today that pushed that average to 273. I felt like he was like 2 for 22, not 6 for 22. Um, does that concern you at all that he says that he felt comfortable and just wasn't executing last year? And when you look at his sub 150 batting average against off speed and breaking balls, are you concerned about Colton Cowser? I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because I know that he broke his thumb in the
yeah,
playoffs. Then he broke it
yeah,
again sliding into first base. Then he comes back and he breaks his ribs and he played the rest of the year with broken ribs. So the guy was never healthy. And that's why I want to give him a
yeah.
pass for last year. But the strikeouts are still a major problem with him.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe that's what he was kind of alluding at was it was the injuries that was affecting him at the plate and didn't have to do with his comfortability at the plate. I don't know, but it's this is pressure's on a little bit right now for Colton Cowser heading into this season. I don't think it's on him as much as it's on someone like Adley Rutschman, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to perform this year because there's much less that Colton Cowser can do and still fill the role of your starting center fielder batting at the bottom third of your lineup. If he turns in a 90 WRC plus, and plays good defense, that'll probably get the job done for your bottom third of the order everyday center fielder.
Mm-hmm.
So now his comments don't really bother me. It's just more of show me what you got now, because you got Enrique Bradfield Jr., who's one step away from the big leagues, but who knows if he can fill that role or if Bradfield's just going to be, a fourth outfielder, pinch runner, defensive replacement type guy. I don't know. Which, those questions arose when Mullins was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So there's guys knocking on the door, not necessarily top prospect caliber, but they didn't really do much to shore up center field this season or this offseason, I should say. They've pretty much given it to Colton Cowser and said, this is your show. Show us you can do it.
Well, and I think that they Ace Ross 4177 says I predict EBJ as our center fielder by 4th of July. I predict he's on the roster by then. I'm not a big believer in Leody Taveras, and I think that Enrique Bradfield Jr. could have a role on this big league club as a fourth outfielder right now. Like the defense is special, the speed is special. You don't need him to start more than once or twice a week, especially when you've got Beavers, O'Neill, Cowser, Ward, Kerstad waiting in the wings. Enrique Bradfield and that's why they're having Beavers play a little bit in center field so that they can give some guys a blow. Enrique Bradfield, I think he just impacts the game so much without having to hit too much. You have that guy. I got into it with somebody on X this past week about Enrique Bradfield, and I'm like, look, I don't care about his bat because you see how he impacts the game without having a good bat. And he's like, he doesn't have to have a 700 OPS, but he has to have a 650. You can't say you don't care about his bat. Well, no, I can because I don't anticipate him starting for the Orioles this year to start the year. And when he is here, my anticipation is he's here as a fourth outfielder, defensive replacement, and pinch runner. That's a guy who fits that role perfectly and impacts a ball game. That's a guy who, if Colton Cowser Cowser was like 14 for 14 stolen bases last year, but like let's say Tyler O'Neill is playing right field for you, and he comes up in a 4-4 ball game in the bottom of the 9th inning, and he gets a base hit with 2 outs. That's a guy who you pinch run, and all of a sudden now you have a guy on third base. And like that's the difference maker that I see Bradfield being. And we saw that great catch he made in right field. He can play all 3 outfield positions. If you told me Enrique Bradfield Jr. was going to make the Orioles out of spring training as a fourth outfielder, I'd be giddy. I'd be so excited because I think that for a player like that, he's what everybody hoped Jorge Mateo would be.
Fair.
He's what a guy who can play elite defense and steal you a bag, but like Jorge Mateo couldn't walk either. And he couldn't bunt
to save his life.
One of the worst bunters I've ever seen. He should be one of the best. Like the fact that he didn't try to lay down a bunt at least once every game that he started blew my mind. Bradfield can lay down a bunt. He can beat out a ground ball to the left side. He can play a league defense. He's got 80 grade speed. The guy's gonna steal bags for you. I'm excited about Enrique Bradfield, and not because I think he's a great hitter. And I think that he'll get to a point where you see him in your lineup and you're not thinking punt. You're thinking, this dude's going to do something to impact this game tonight.
Sure.
Like if he hits 240 at the big league level at his best, that's a 350 on base percentage for him because of his eye. You know,
Yeah.
and if you have him getting on base, okay, maybe not 350 at the big league, maybe that's 325, but you have him getting on base at a 325 clip, he's going to steal 70 bases. He's going to steal
Yes.
70 bases. You know, I look at the Orioles, and we'll bring this home with my concern for them. I hadn't looked at it until now. They haven't been scoring a lot of runs. They are fifth worst in baseball. 62 runs scored in 16 games. That's less than 4 runs a game. They haven't
Yeah.
had the whole team together for very long. You haven't seen a single
Mhm.
game with everybody top to bottom playing. Like you haven't seen an opening day lineup for this team yet.
No. No, you haven't
And
yet.
and I don't know, man. It just worries me when I see like Gunnar was hitting 170, 176, but at the same time, he's going off right now. Like you're not worried about Gunnar.
Yes. No.
Rutschman not hitting well. But Basayo's hitting well, but then like Mountcastle's hitting well. Mayo has one strikeout this spring. One. You know,
It's insane.
like do you see what I see with Mayo? Like you see much more confidence from him at the plate.
Oh yeah.
The way he's
Easily.
carrying himself, he just looks more confident, and you just feel like when you need him to hit a fly ball or come through with something, even if it doesn't have to be a hit, you feel like he's going to do it. There's just
Yes.
something about
Absolutely.
him. I'm excited to see what he can do. What he can do this spring because
Hmm.
it may be a blessing in disguise that maybe a blessing in disguise that Westburg got hurt because you're going to be able to see what Mayo can do. Before
Yeah.
they were about to trade Mayo before they found out about Westberg's UCL. They were going to trade him, and
Yeah.
now they're hanging on to him. And if this guy comes out in the month of April and he's hitting 280 with 6 home runs in April, are you getting rid of him? You're finding a way to
No.
keep him in your lineup.
You're going to have a very good problem on your hands once
Mm-hmm.
Westberg and Holliday come back.
All right, and then do you think about moving one of them to the outfield?
I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, and I know that I'm pretty sure it was Zach Moore, your co-host, who
He thinks that Jackson should move to
was
center.
preaching, yeah, preaching Jackson should be in center. And I don't know if that's a move that you make mid-season. That's a tough one to make mid-season, but it really gives you options. And really you could just put it in as a rotational basis type thing, between Westberg, Mayo, and Holliday. Hey, pull those three guys aside and get one of you guys is riding the bench today.
Yeah.
One of you guys, the next guy is riding the bench the next day. It's just going to be a three-way rotation for two of you starting, and that's just the way it's going to be.
Ace Ross says, could Westberg be Wally Pipp? For those of you who don't know, Wally Pipp was a starting first baseman for the Yankees. He got hurt. Lou Gehrig, at like 19 years old, took over and never took a day off again for like 15 years. Um, like, could he be? Well, he could. We were just talking about the 6-man rotation, right? God, I gotta get out of here. We were just talking about a 6-man rotation and how like it could really help save the arms. Zach and I talked about this. It could really help save the arms so that you have guys who are a lot fresher than other teams' starting pitchers when you hit the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Gunner's going to play every day. Gunner's going to play
Yep.
if he's healthy. He's playing 155 plus games. But
Yeah.
you can have Westberg and Mayo playing third and second against left-handed pitching until Jackson
Yes.
Holliday proves that he can play every single day. You can
100%.
get Westberg time off his feet. I mean, there's things that can be done to play these guys. Wally Pipp, he had a headache. See, I can't. Is it that he asked for the day off because he had a headache? Then Garrett came in and just blew their doors off, and like, that's crazy. A headache.
Yeah.
That's like Marty Cordova getting a third-degree burn from a tanning salon and having to go on the IL, or
Yeah.
was it Sammy Sosa sneezed and threw out his back?
Yep. And
Like,
honestly, I feel that pain so much.
yeah, I hear it. Like look, if like you said, it's a good problem to have if Westberg comes back and Mayo is tearing the cover off the ball. And the other thing is at this point, Westberg hasn't been able to stay healthy now for 3 seasons. And the first time
Mhm.
around, not his fault. He took a fastball to his thumb, broke his thumb. He's out 7 weeks. That's not his fault. Kind of his fault that
Right.
he didn't think about the hotel bed that he was going to be sleeping on, and then he strained his last year, and then he strained his oblique this year, sleeping again. That's kind of his fault, you know.
That man needs to stop sleeping.
Yeah, just sleep standing up. Just
Yeah.
sleep standing up, dude. Just lean in the corner like an old rake and just lay there. You know, because we need you to rake. Today's show has been brought to you
Yes.
by Leading Edge Auto Body. Your car is more than just a ride, it's an investment. Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, customer satisfaction comes first. The team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications, or if you're in England, aluminium certifications. And they make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery. Find out more at leadingedgeautobody.com. That's leadingedgeautobody.com. Super excited for baseball to get started here. Less than 3 weeks away. 2 weeks from Thursday, Orioles baseball will be back against the Twins from Camden Yards at 3:05. I plan to be there. A little nervous that I might not be, but I will. If there's a will, there's a way. I thought I wasn't going to be there last year, and then I was, and that, I haven't missed since 2007. So I don't know if that streak's coming to an end. I don't plan on it, but I plan to be there. Um, Dylan, anything you want to add before we get out of here today?
No, no, just going back a little bit here about quiet spring training. A boring spring training is a quality spring training. That's all I'm leaving here with.
Yep. 100%. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Without you, we do not have a show. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners, fans, viewers, guests. Without you, we 100% do not have a show. Thank you to the Axe Man, Dillon Cut the Axe Atkinson. Thank you so much, my good friend. We'll be talking soon. Until next time.